What's up, YouTube? Welcome or welcome back to the Saving Men's Lives Network. We have a sad story for you today, fellas. Coming out of the Houston area. Shout out to everybody in Houston who's watching. Shout out to my family down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A Houston mother was sentenced to life in prison for beating her infant daughter to death. Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg announced. Tredesia Trinae Bibbs, age 29, was sentenced Monday after being convicted of felony murder for the death of 4-month-old Brielle Robinson on April 16, 2016. The case was investigated by the Houston Police Department. Bibbs had previously been convicted of capital, but that verdict was reversed and Bibbs was retried. In 2016, authorities were called to the Red Carpet Inn on Gulf Freeway, where they found Bibbs in the room with Brielle. According to court documents filed at that time, Bibbs told officials she heard her daughter crying and picked her up by the arms and dropped her on the bed, causing her to fall to the floor. Bibbs then allegedly continuously struck her daughter in the face, chest, ribs, and legs until the child stopped crying. Brielle was later transported to Texas Children's Hospital, where doctors determined she had suffered multiple fractures and severe head trauma. According to court documents at the time, Bibbs originally told authorities that Brielle had fallen from her car seat to the concrete, but later admitted to making up that story. She told police that after checking into the motel with the infant, a few hours later she started not to care about the child's well-being and reportedly dropped her on the mattress and popped her in the face. Bibbs told police she punched the baby in the ribs and chest repeatedly until she stopped crying, but called 911 once the baby stopped breathing. Assistant District Attorney Keaton Forst said Bibbs killed her daughter because the baby's father no longer wanted a relationship with the mother. During the week-long trial, jurors heard evidence that emergency room doctors said Bibbs did not seem interested in the baby's medical care or the consequences for the fatal head injury she inflicted. Quote, Bibbs deserved a life sentence for what she did to her child, Forst said. Quote, she beat her countless times and seemed to care about as much about the death of her daughter as she did about the life of her daughter. Our office stands up for all victims, but a baby is the most innocent of victims, Ogg said. We believe that a life sentence was appropriate for this brutal homicide, and Harris County jury agreed. Now, let me say this real quick. As a father to a little girl and a son, the fact that this creature, this demon walking around in human flesh, could do to a baby girl, 4-month-old, what she did is an evil that defies description. I've never encountered anyone personally who could do this, and certainly no one who could is ever going to be allowed into my circle of influence. I did a video a while back, and I'll leave a link to it down below, about a man who told a story on TikTok about how his 7 baby mamas tried to baby trap him and how he wanted nothing to do with them. Fellas, if you haven't seen the video, hearing this guy in his own words, it's amazing. So I'll leave it down below if you haven't seen it already. But the fact that there are men out here making babies with these unworthy women, you have to be careful, fellas. You have to guard your sacred seed, because not every woman deserves to be a mother, and not every woman certainly deserves to be the mother of your child, because she destroyed this little girl because her attempt to trap this man with a daughter didn't work out the way she planned it. So the little girl paid the price. How many people right now as we speak are spending tens of thousands of dollars trying to go through in vitro fertilization, looking for a surrogate for whatever reason? You got women freezing their eggs. You got women who are on the waiting list at adoption agencies, begging for a child, pleading for one. And this thing, this creature from the abyss, had the opportunity to give birth without 21st century medical technology, or without waiting in line at the orphanage. And she beat her to death with clenched fists and slammed her to the concrete. But there's one thing the district attorney and I disagree on. You see, they think she deserves life in prison. And yeah, okay, that'll do, I suppose. But if I had it my way, Something like this doesn't deserve life in prison. Not the electric chair, not the lethal injection, not even the firing squad, even though this is Texas. We need to go old school. We need to go old school and crucify this beast on the hottest day of the year. Because according to Roman text that I've read, you weren't crucified with your clothes on. You were crucified in the nude. So you could die from not only exposure and suffocation, but also from third-degree sunburns and vultures landing on your head often and pecking your eyes out. Crows as well. This is what something like this deserves. You don't deserve to be a taxpayer burden for the next 4 or 5 decades. Hopefully she'll meet an untimely end in the shower, but only time will tell. I keep my eyes open on the story to see how that plays out. But for today, fellas, the moral of the story is be careful with your semen. Be careful when you're selling these chicks a dream, because some of them really do think that they're worthy of carrying your seed to full fruition. And this is what some of them will do if things don't go the way they planned it. So, with that said, fellas, that's my time. Like the video, comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And just remember, fellas, never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we working. Till next time.